Hi, welcome back. This video is talking about uncertainty and how to achieve your future self. I have a lot of conversations with people, not just who, are looking for information about this program, but even during the program, who are looking for certainty. They're looking for something that will work for them, and they have a fear that this won't work for them because they've tried everything in the past and it hasn't worked for them. So why would this program work? Now, this is a very understandable way of approaching, anything new, really. There is a thing called uncertainty. We can't be certain it's going to work. Like any real change, there is the program itself, there is the content, there is your attitude, there's everything. There's a lot of moving parts there. Anything new is fertile ground for uncertainty. So how I address this, or at least how I explain this, is that it's okay to be uncertain. The fact is, uncertainty is our natural state. Uncertainty is fear, and we are essentially mammals, and the first thing we do when we get up in the morning is we stick our nose above the ground and we smell for predators, and then we look for food. So fear is our primary sense. It's what keeps us alive. And uncertainty is like a constant state of fear. The thing is, when we are feeling uncertainty, we crave nothing more than certainty. We crave certainty. We crave security. So if you have a potential health issue and you go to the doctor, you will listen to every word the doctor says, and you will cling to any hope the doctor will give you. We dread uncertainty. I was talking to a 16-year-old relatively recently, and I was explaining how amazingly courageous she is. Now, she didn't really see herself as being amazingly courageous. But I explained, I said to her, would you take advice from a 14-year-old? And she looked at me in that way that 16-year-olds can do sometimes. No way. I said, would you take advice from a 15-year-old? And she sort of said, depends. So I said, look, I'm an old guy and I've got decades of previous experience behind me. Numerous mistakes that I can pull from, lean on, learn from. Hopefully. But you can't even go back a year for your experience to help you deal with the challenges that you're experiencing in the present. So it's very interesting how a 16-year-old, and teenagers in general really, are in a constant state in the present because the past, they were children and they don't regard that version of themselves as worthy of pulling information from. And the future is uncertain. So they're constantly living in the present. It's kind of fascinating, really. So they're the most courageous people on the planet, are young people. We crave certainty. We fear uncertainty. So when people are thinking about maybe signing up to this program, or when they're on the program, they still have this fear, this uncertainty. And it comes up very often. So the reason why I'm recording this is that I have this conversation multiple times. Very understandable and a great conversation to have. And here's how I explain this. You see, in the present depends on what you do. So your success in the future depends on the decisions that you make in the now, in this moment, today, in the present. The decisions that you make today are fueled by uncertainty because the present is always uncertain. So when you're feeling uncertain, you crave certainty. And the only certainty that you actually have, the only certain structure that you have is behind you because the present is uncertain and the past is certain. The past never changes. Every time you look back at your previous experience, it's always there and it's the same. It never changes. You don't think about this, but when you're feeling uncertain in the present, you actually end up looking back at the past for your certainty. Now think about that. The only certainty that you have in your life is behind you. And when it comes to eating behaviors, losing weight, that sort of thing, pretty much everything behind you represents failure. What you have not achieved, what has not worked. Or, what I hear fairly often is that I have succeeded, but then I went back. When you look behind you, when you picture success, you see it as being temporary, and you see it inevitably ending up in failure. And one of the big problems there is when you're looking back, whatever you focus on, you tend to achieve. So you don't realize this, but in the present moment, when you're feeling uncertain and you crave certainty, you're looking behind you and you're focusing on what's behind you, what went before, and you're focusing on failure. And what you don't realize is that your brain tunes into whatever you focus on. So your brain is thinking, okay, failure, I will help you achieve that, because your brain will help you achieve whatever you focus on. Now, isn't that incredible? What a shock. And this is why we get locked into a similar pattern of some success and plenty of failure. So what can you do about that? Well, as I tend to say, as I've probably said a number of times, is that in order to successfully change, you need three things. You need new information, getting new information into your brain. Then you need to repeat that new information. Repeat over and over again. As I keep saying, it's hours and hours of new information going up against decades of old information. There's a real battle going on. And then you need support. Support like these conversations I'm having. You need someone to lean on. So if you want to have a different result, a different outcome that represents success, you can't be looking behind you. Success is not in the past, it's in the future. But you have to create it. So one of the main objectives of listening to the hypnosis audios and of taking in all the new information is that you visualize and build that future, that version of yourself in the future in your mind, that you create a certainty in your future. That's it. Create your certain future. How you're going to look, what you're going to wear, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, how it's going to feel. The more detail you put into your future, the more certain it becomes in your mind. So when you're feeling uncertain in the present, then you crave certainty and you look to the future and you see your future self and you make a decision in the now that will reflect that future. So when it comes to will I have the chocolate biscuit or not, you could look at the past and go, well, what's the point? Why torture myself? It's going to fail anyway, so I might as well have it. Or you look to the future and you see your future self. You see the happiness and the energy and the joy. And you look at that chocolate biscuit and it just becomes a chocolate biscuit. So you don't have it. You make decisions based on where your focus is. So focus forward, focus in the future. So just remember, it's your future self that you want to achieve. There is nothing behind you that can help you in the present. All decisions that you make that will help you succeed are ahead of you. Build your future self. Make your future your certainty. So when you're feeling uncertain in the present, then you will look forward. And because you look forward and the future represents success, you will make a decision that will help you to achieve that success. Now, that's just a little note. Again, another piece of information. So thanks for listening. Hope that helps.